Aloha, everybody. This is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 33. You guys digging my Padres Baby Yoda shirt? It's pretty cool. Custom made. Got this at a vendor in San Diego. Although it takes like 3 to 4 weeks or something to get it shipped out to me. But they're good. I like everything but maybe one tank top that I bought. But it was only because it had problems with the wash, even though you had it inside out. But all the other ones I bought, they're all good, all perfect. I'm trying to remember what they were called. The vendor's name kind of eludes me, but just know they are here in San Diego. I think they're off of, I believe it's Executive Drive, and they have like a whole catalog of like special design logos of like sports teams and characters. So, um, probably in future episodes, I'll probably mention which vendor it is, but keep your eye on something like this. This is actually pretty cool. I'm going to wear this to a lot of games next season. I already wore it sometimes this season, and Padres are doing pretty well, even though their season was cut short in the National League Championship, losing 4-1 to the Philadelphia Phillies. Um, well, right now the World Series is going on, and guess what? The Phillies came back from an 0-5 deficit in Game 1 against the Houston Astros, who up till last night did not lose one single playoff game. And you would think that with a 5-0 lead, they'll be continuing that trend of not losing any playoff games, but unfortunately, the Phillies came back with 5 runs of their own, and they scored a home run in the top of the 10th inning of last night's Game 1 of the World Series, and Phillies beat the Astros 6-5 last night to take a 1-0 series lead in the best of 7 for the World Series championship, and we'll see what happens in Game 2 tonight. Um, I think tonight is Wheeler going for the Phillies tonight, and Valdez is going up for the Astros tonight. So I am pulling for the Astros to win this series, but the Phillies just may have made this an interesting series. So I'm still predicting the Astros will win 4 games to 2, celebrate on their home turf in Houston for Game 6, and hopefully Justin Verlander can get that elusive World Series victory because he's 0-6 in the World Series. That's just crazy. Even though he's a Hall of Famer, great regular season stats before with the Astros and Tigers, but you kind of want to get that one World Series victory. Even though he does have a World Series ring, but he probably would want to have at least one victory to his name. So there's that. Um, since I have you guys on here, I actually wanted to go over some comedy review. I did go to the Amplified Ale Brewery on Thursday night in Pacific Beach, hosted by comic and producer Melissa Weisman. She's a pretty cool gal, pretty funny, and she runs a great show. Now, granted, on Thursday it was a little rough because the setup took a little while and it was a little delayed, but we got enough people to get her show going, and it pretty much went off without a hitch for the rest of the night. So, again, great show, awesome show. Melissa Weisman, you're doing a great job. The headliner was Al Gavi, funny guy. Got to see him again. Um, I think this material that he did on Thursday night was actually better than his last one. So I've now seen him, I believe, 3 times now, and I think he's one of the good ones out here in San Diego. And now he's going to be traveling again, but it's cool seeing him down in San Diego performing. So whenever you have a chance, catch him in San Diego. You'll have a good night of laughs. I actually thought that his performance was 8.6 out of 10, which is pretty high on my scale, given that it might be a little loose, but still. We also had Stephen Galbor. He does work at the La Jolla Comedy Store. I thought his comedy was about an 8 out of 10. Got to talk to him after the show. Pretty cool guy. He's into fantasy sports and sports, so and good food and movies and TV shows. So pretty cool friend to make. And then Mark Ruby make his long-awaited return to the comedy stage. I actually thought his comedy was 8.2 out of 810. So funny guy. I'm glad I got to see his material. Um, who else was on the show? Oh, Camille Waters. Just got to see her recently. Funny gal. Um, I would say that she was a 8 out of 10. Um, uh, I like a lot of her bits, and I'm glad I got to see her a second time now. I was planning to see her at the Pretty Funny Women show that was at the La Jolla Comedy Store, but um, I got caught up with stuff, and I'm glad I made it out to the Amplified show to see her perform. So if I didn't see her Wednesday, I was gonna see her on Thursday. Um, what else? There was also Grant Bozeman, funny guy. I thought his comedy was a 7.7 out of 10. Um, he was also helping out with the crew, setting up the speakers, the connections, the audio sounds for the setting up the stage for the comedy show. Um, who else? There was an Alberto Mercado, funny guy as well. He has some funny bits. I thought his was like a 7.8 out of 10. Um, glad I got to see him perform. And so overall, funny show from top to bottom. Melissa Weisman's material, she also did some bits too. Um, she has some new stuff, kind of bringing some stuff about her being in Spain and talking about her mom and sister. So, um, decent material. I would give Melissa, let's say, 7.7 out of 10. Um, just being unbiased. You know how I am. But I can't wait to see more of her material, especially if she's not hosting. If she does like a 10-minute set, I would like to see what she does going forward. Because like with hosting duties, I guess you kind of have to kind of coordinate between hosting and doing some stand up in between. So, but a lot of kudos for Melissa for putting on a great show, and yeah, just want to bring that up. So that was Thursday night. On Friday night, last night, I actually went to the mic drop in Claremont Mesa Boulevard. I went to see a great show. It was a live tape-in of the Adam Carolla Show. That was a fun one. You got to meet Adam Carolla, cool guy. Got a picture with him. Got to meet his co-host, Gina Grad and Bryan Bishop. Really cool people. I got to talk to them for a little bit, and I'm glad I did. And I'm glad I got a ticket to see them. My seat was all the way to the far left of the stage, but I was able to kind of sit straight to. Now, technically, I couldn't be sitting right with the table. I had to make a 90-degree perpendicular angle to the table. So basically, I had one arm on the table and my other arm was on the chair that was in front of me. So kind of sit straight to the stage, but not sit straight to the table. So, but it was cool. It was a cool podcast live taping. So I guess they're gonna post that on their Halloween um, edition. So I'll tune in for that if I can. I guess find a way to get to their podcast. There might be a couple ways of doing it, but I'm gonna do a little research and we'll see what happens with that. Adam Carolla, I thought his stand up, well, his podcast, I would say that it was like a decent 8.8 out of 10. And I'm very, I liked it a lot. So I'm glad I got to be a part of the podcast. Um, his stand up comedy, I think it was a decent 8.5 out of 10. Incorporating brunch and how brunch was ruined by San Francisco, I guess, and then talked about Jimmy Kimmel. He has a lot of great stuff to say about Jimmy Kimmel. Um, uh, so he did this thing where he kind of pulled um, ideas for topics to talk about and use as part of his stand-up comedy. He did that for his stand-up. That was kind of a cool concept that you can just kind of improv and just let it fling out. So that's pretty cool. And he's a decent guy. So I'm glad I got to see him and his crew. Um, so yeah, just want to mention, I probably already said it before, that the Padres did get eliminated um, by the Philadelphia Phillies. So, uh, honestly, there were a couple games they could have won in Philadelphia and would have brought the series back to San Diego up 3-2. Game 4 in particular, they were up 4-0 and they still went with Clevenger, but he gave up 3 runs. But then they also gave up the lead, and they ended up they were up 6-4 after they were up 4-0. And well, honestly, they lost that game 10-6. Their pitching couldn't hold up, and the offense just couldn't find any more firepower for the rest of the game. So honestly, may or may not have gone the way it did, but to have a 4-0 lead, you should have won that game, honestly. And I know pitching can be tricky sometimes, but to have a 4-0 lead, that should have already made a statement for the rest of the night. But unfortunately, they couldn't hold on to the lead. And I know it's tough, but Padres do have some areas to work on when it comes to the winter meetings and trying to set up for the 2023 season. And the Padres should be contenders again for the 2023 season. So, and the fact that they may be better than the Dodgers going forward, but they are tough contenders. But the fact that we beat the Dodgers 3-1 to advance to the National League Championship Series, and to defeat the New York Mets 2-1 to advance to meet the Dodgers. So to beat two teams that won over 100 games in the season, and the regular season is over and the playoffs start, and all that didn't matter anymore because the Padres tried to outmanage the Mets and the Dodgers, and then they could have been the Phillies actually. And the fact that the Phillies are up in the World Series right now just tells me that the Padres are kind of in that Final Four talk when it comes to going forward for the next few seasons. So hopefully they do enough, put the pieces together, and they put a championship team out there on the field for the next few years, and we get a lot of silence from the critics, you know. So I'm looking forward to it. More games to go to, and can't wait to see more winning in the playoffs and the regular season. So I'm really happy to see where the Padres are at, and hopefully they incorporate Fernando Tatis. Hopefully he can get the trust back from all the fans after what happened last season with his injury, recovering, and then having that drug bust with the steroid um, um, issue that he had that became public, and he got suspended for the rest of the year, and it's going to spill into the 2023 season, but hopefully they can make it all work. All right, and just to let you guys know, the Lakers are 0-5 now. They lost to the Warriors to start the season. They lost to the Clippers at home. They lost to the Portland Trail Blazers at home. They lost to the Nuggets on the road, and they lost to the Wolves last night on the road as well. So they're 0-5. And it's not impossible to think they're going to go 0-9 because it's a very top heavy start to the season schedule. And I have a bad feeling with Westbrook being hurt and then being brought off the bench, and then you have Anthony Davis getting hurt with his back again, and LeBron can only do so much. Honestly, I think I have a feeling this season will not go so well. I just needed to see how they did against the elite, and I was kind of hoping they would make some adjustments, but this league has kind of moved on, and the Lakers may not have evolved with the league as fast, so I hate to say it, but we could be in for a very long season for the Lakers. So, I mean, I'll enjoy watching them on TV, but I have my thoughts that they are not going to win the championship this year. So, I am hoping it's going to be Warriors and Bucks because that's going to be an exciting final. So, yeah. Kings hockey, they're doing pretty well actually to start the season. They've already beaten the Lightning, which is great in itself because the Lightning have been in the Stanley Cup Finals in like the last 3 years in a row. I don't think they're going to make it back for the fourth year, but you know, it's nice to see the Kings kind of rebuilding their team and might be building a playoff contender for this season. So can't wait. I think they're like 4-4-2, 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 overtime losses. So yeah. So what else? Oh, Chargers are on a bye week. I'm kind of glad because week 7 for the Chargers was pretty brutal. Kenneth Walker just ran right over the Chargers. Like I think it was like 168 yards rushing and 2 rushing touchdowns. So if you had him on your fantasy team, that was probably a good day for you. Chargers, they're 4-3 going into the break. They are going to need it. Justin Herbert is probably still hurt from his ribs from week 2, so he's trying to play through it. But hopefully, with this little break, team can make that run for the Super Bowl. So I'm still hoping. I'm still holding out for hope that they're gonna be contenders. Kansas City Chiefs actually picked up Cardavius, Tony, Tony, from the Giants. So the Chiefs are loading up on receivers, trying to make up for the loss of Tyreek Hill. And this just made the Chiefs a lot more of a what is it called? A formidable opponent going forward. So hopefully the Chargers can catch him, or hopefully the Chargers can outplay the Chiefs down the road to the Super Bowl. So week 7, I'm just gonna mention some notables here. The Bears beat the Patriots. So there's that. Let's see what else. The Titans beat the Colts. I think the let's see. I might have to look this up. I probably should. Let's look at this for a minute. Because I'm going to go right into the picks for week 8. So, all right. So week 7, I guess I've already mentioned. Cardinals beat the Saints. That was a fun one, actually. Bengals destroyed the Falcons, as expected. Cowboys beat the Lions. I've already mentioned Titans beat the Colts. Big surprise. This is actually what got me to win the money from the Survivor pool. So Panthers beat the Buccaneers, and I was in the final 2 of my Survivor pool. And I picked the Buffalo Bills to win. No, correction. I picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions. I thought that was a good pick. And I realized I still had some really good teams to pick from, because once the good teams are gone, you're gonna have to pick from the middle, and the middles are very susceptible to, um, you know, losing to the bad teams and also lose to the good teams. So because I picked the Cowboys to beat the Lions, and the guy I was in the final two with in a pool of 17 people had chosen the Buccaneers to beat the Panthers, who had just traded away Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. Um, it, it worked out in my favor. Cowboys got me the survivor pool money, all of it, the side pots, and the big money pot. I think I've gotten over $1,000 in that pot. So I'm glad I did that, and I guess I'm starting up a mid-season pool, survivor pool, so hopefully I win that one too. Going forward, Commanders beat the Packers, Giants beat the Jaguars, Ravens beat the Browns, Jets beat the Broncos, Raiders beat the Texans, Seahawks did beat the Chargers 37-23. That sucked. Chiefs beat the 49ers, Dolphins beat the Steelers, and as I mentioned before, Bears beat the Patriots. Still, with all that, Eagles are still undefeated, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. And with that, let's get into the week 8. I'm going to make my picks. Just so you know, Ravens did beat the Buccaneers 27-22 in Tampa Bay on Thursday night. So Tom Brady's probably pissed because he's divorced now from Giselle. After, 13, 14 years together? It's he had a Super Bowl victory in Tampa Bay. He could have left on top, but he wanted to play more. And I guess that might have been one of the reasons why they had their issues, and it led to the divorce. Kind of fortunate. So, continuing the picks. Let's start. There's a London game. Jaguars and Broncos. You know what? I am going to pick the Jaguars to win this one. I think it's one of those times when Trevor Lawrence will start to escalate to another level. So yeah, Jaguars over Broncos in London. We got Falcons and Panthers. That is going to be an interesting one. I am going to pick... Let's go with it. Let's pick the Panthers to beat the Falcons. Let's see. Cowboys and Bears. This one should be a good one. I think the Bears might have got some of their footing back, but I'm picking the Cowboys to beat the Bears in Dallas Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium. What else? We got Lions and Dolphins. I got Dolphins winning this one. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, is it? I think he is playing, and he's actually on my fantasy teams, but unfortunately, I think the Lions are going to be in for a long season, so I think Dolphins are going to win this one. Oh, Vikings and Cardinals. Actually, I think I picked the Vikings to win my... I think I picked the Bills to beat the Packers for this week's Survivor pool to continue that midseason one. So, but for Vikings and Cardinals, it's gonna be a good one. But I'm actually leaning towards the Vikings to win this one. Raiders and Saints. That should be an interesting one. As you may know, I'm not a big fan of the Raiders, but I am picking the Saints to win this one. Alvin Kamara, I think he can get Chris Olave going with Taysom Hill. That I think the Saints will pull it out. What else? Eagles and Steelers. I'm picking Eagles. I don't know what it is about the Steelers, but they're running with a rookie quarterback, Mr. Pickett or Pickens. Whatever the name is. Eagles are on another level. but it might be close. But if the Eagles start to pull away, I'm not going to be surprised either way. So, what else? Titans and Texans. I'm picking Titans in this one. Colts and Commanders, that should be good. I think the Colts might pull it out, though. 49ers and Rams. Um, you know what? It should be a good one, but I'm picking the 49ers to win this one. I saw how they played against the Rams on, was it Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football? 49ers look like they're still better than the Rams. And I don't know why, but it just is, right? Um, just imagine how that SoFi Stadium is going to be during the game. All right, Giants and Seahawks. You know what? I think Seahawks might win this one. Stop picking Seahawks. And you're just saying a football game, Bills and Packers. As you, like I already said, for the Survivor pool, I'm already picking the Bills to beat the Packers. It may not even be close at all, actually. And your Monday Night Football game, Browns and Bengals. I'm picking Bengals. I think they got things going now, but they lost their star receiver, Jamar Chase. So that should make for an interesting game, actually. All right, those are my picks for the NFL Week 8. Make some money off of most of those picks or all of them. Enjoy, be safe. And one last thing. Oh, wait, two more things. So I'm just only going to mention two fights. It's Anderson Silva versus Jake Paul. That one should be good. I'm going to watch it after going to a Halloween party today. And I'm picking Anderson Silva to beat Jake Paul tonight. I think Anderson Silva still has some fast, quick punches, and he may or may not knock out Jake Paul. So that's my pick tonight. The other one is UFC Fight Night. Arnold Allen versus Calvin Kattar, and you know what? Since I have the card up, I'm gonna start with saying Arnold Allen will defeat Calvin Kattar. It's just that Arnold Allen, I think he's on his way up, and he may be in line for a title shot for the 155. That's a loaded division. So, starting with the main event with Arnold Allen winning tonight's main event that I'm picking, let's go and predict the rest of the card. Let's go pretty quickly. Tim Means and Max Griffin. This is in the welterweight division. Max Griffin is the favorite, but honestly, I'm picking. Well, let's go with it. Max Griffin. Next fight on the card is a heavyweight fight. Jared Vanderaa versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. Acosta is the favorite. You know what? I'm picking Waldo to win this one. Next fight on the card is a middleweight fight. Tresean Gore going up against Josh Framid. Framid is the favorite. I am going to pick Gore to win this one. Next up is a light heavyweight fight. Khalil Roundtree Jr. versus Dustin Jacoby. Dustin Jacoby is the favorite in this one. I'm picking Jacoby to win this one. The featured prelim fight, you have the favorite Phil DeHaas versus Roman Dolizes. Let's go with Dolizes to win this one. That should be a good fight. Hopefully I'll catch it somehow. Next up we have heavyweight fight. We have the legend Andrei Arlovsky. He's been fighting forever, 34-20. He's the underdog to the fight against Marcos was it Rogerio? De Lima. Um, Even though Marcos is the favorite, but I have a feeling Andrei Arlovsky might actually win this one. Um, Next up, we have the favorite Jun Young Park going up against Joseph Holmes. This is a middleweight fight, and I'm going to pick Joseph Holmes to win this one. Next up, we have a featherweight fight Chase Hooper and Steve Garcia. Um, I am picking Chase Hooper to beat Steve Garcia in this one. Chase is the favorite. What else we got? Cody Durden versus Carlos Mota. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to go with Cody Durden to win this one in the flyweight division. And to start off the entire fight card, we got a bantamweight fight. We have the favorite Christian Rodriguez going up against Joshua Weems. I'm picking Christian Rodriguez to win this fight. So those are my picks for tonight's UFC card, and you've already heard my pick for Anderson Silva over Jake Paul, and you already had heard my picks for the NFL Week 8. So with that, have fun, guys. Have a fun weekend. Be safe. Have fun with all your Halloween parties. I'm actually part of a potluck on Monday at work. So, salt and pepper wings. So, should be a good weekend and Halloween. So, enjoy the World Series, NBA, NHL, World Series, UFC fights, Jake Paul, Anderson Silva, and NFL. A lot of stuff to do, a lot of stuff to watch, and comedy shows. All right, guys. Tiggy Maximus signing off. There, guys.